Hello everyone, in this video we're going to talk about blood type. So with blood type, you need to understand that it's a multiple allele situation and a codominant situation at the same time. So how it works is that you can have big IA as a dominant allele, and this A allele codes for what we call antigen A. So this is a marker expressed outside the red blood cell. Or you can have I big B, so that's another dominant allele, and it codes for blood type B, and it codes for an antigen outside the red blood cell called antigen B. And the last thing we have little IO, so this is our recessive version of the blood type, so it doesn't code for any antigen at all. So you'll have a red blood cell that's nice and smooth, there's no antigen on the outside at all. So there's three different types of blood types, or for four different types of blood types. We have A, B, AB, and O. For blood type A, there are two versions of it. You can have the homozygous version, I big A, I big A. Or you can have the heterozygous version, I big A, little I-O. Because of A blood type, or the A allele is dominant, when it's combined with a recessive allele, you're still going to see the dominant traits, which is I big A, and you will end up with antigen A on your red blood cell. For B, we'll have I big B for homozygous. You will have red blood cells that have the little protein marker antigen B. Or you can have I big B, little I-O, same thing as this one. Because the B allele is dominant over the recessive O, you will still end up with blood type B, with the antigen B on your blood. With AB, that means you have IA and IB at the same time. That is the only kind that you can have blood type AB. When you have blood type AB, that means you have antigen A and antigen B at the same time outside your red blood cell. Lastly, we have blood type O. So the only time you can have blood type O, this recessive trait, is little I-O, little I-O. You will end up with a red blood cell that is nice and smooth. There's nothing on the outside. Okay. So now we're going to take a look at these questions. Homozygous for B. This one. Heterozygous for A will be this one. If you had a blood type A and an O parent, that means you can have either this as a child or this as a child, because the blood type A parent could either be this or this, and you're going to give the child I big A or little I-O, are both possible. So as a child, you can either have the O blood type or the A blood type. The next one is type AB, that's right here, and then blood type can be donated to anybody. Okay, so now we need to take a look at what we mean by antibodies. Okay, so there's a difference between antigen and antibody. Okay, you need to remember which one is which. So the antigen is the marker on the red blood cell that allows your body to recognize that this is my red blood cell. I'm not going to do any harm to it. And then antibodies are kind of the cops in your body that are protecting your body, make sure there's no foreign cells invading your body, keeping you safe, right? When you get a cold, you have these white blood cells that can release antibodies that can get rid of the viruses in your body. So we have blood type A, we'll have antigen A. So when we have big I, this I big A, what is really coding for is the antigen A outside of your red blood cell. And when you donate blood, you're donating the red blood cell, and you're not donating the antibody. So if you had A, you cannot have antibody A, because if you have antigen A, antibody A, those two will bind together and it will clog the blood. And this red blood cell is going to die, and you don't want that in your body, right? So what you can have is anti-B. And then we can move on to blood type B. So blood type B will have antigen B, which means it cannot have anti-B, but it can have anti-A. Right? Third one, we have blood type AB. That means you have antigen A and B at the same time, because you have the A allele and the B allele. And that means you can't have any antibody at all, because otherwise it can bind to, if you had anti-A, it's going to bind to the A part. If you had anti-B, it's going to bind to the B part, and it's going to kill your red blood cell. You don't want that. And then you have blood type O that has no antigen, so you have basically a naked little red blood cell. And then you have antibody A and B, right? So now, the blood that can be donated to anybody, this is the O blood type, because if you don't have any marker on your red blood cell, then you can give it to anybody, right? These antigen, anti-B, anti-A is not going to hurt your, or AB, it's not going to hurt your red blood cell at all. And then we have something called the universal acceptor, or, right? Universal acceptor. Universal donor. Okay. Universal acceptor is you can accept blood from anybody. Those will be the AB blood type because you don't have any antibody. So any blood is safe in your body. The only question that we didn't cover is which type of blood can only get blood from type O donor? That will be that will be the only self, right? Because other blood can also get O blood type, but the O blood type cannot get this or this or this because O blood type has anti-A and anti-B, so you can't have any antigen in any of the red blood cell at all. So now let's take a look at some of the other questions. 28 says, if one of your parents is homozygous for blood type A and the other is homozygous for blood type B, what are you going to end up with? So if you're homozygous for blood type A, that means your genotype is IA. The father is IB. If you draw the Punnett square, you're going to find out that all the offspring is going to have IB. That means your blood type will be AB. So you need to be able to write out these kind of notations so that you can draw a Punnett square and predict what the offspring will look like. 29, a person with antibody AB has what kind of blood type, right? If you have antibody A and antibody B at the same time, that means you can't have any antigen. The only time that you can't have any antigen is when you have blood type O, right here. A person with antigen B on their red blood cells has what blood type? If you have antigen B, that's B blood type, right? No matter what kind of antigen you have, if you have that kind of antigen, you're having that blood type. Unless you're blood type O, which means you don't have any antigen at all. So you need to wrap your head around all of these. A person with antigen AB will have the blood type AB, which means you can't have any antibody at all because you will have, if you have any antibody, it will bind with antigen A or B and then it's going to destroy the blood. You don't want that. All right, 32. So we have Mrs. Essie is type A and Mr. Essie is type O. So we know Mr. is IO. We don't really know what Mrs. is, but let's take a look. We have 3 children. We have a type O blood child, type A blood child, and an AB blood type. Okay, so the only time that you can have this possibility is probably this, because we have a child that's O blood type, and the only time that you can have O blood type is when both parents give you and blood type O. So what you'll end up with in a Punnett square, right here, is this, right? So these are your 4 possibilities. So then you look at the question, Mr. Essie has to be this, right? Mrs. Essie could have big I, A, little I-O, or it could be this, or she could be this, right? You could be homozygous or heterozygous if you have blood type A, because there are 2 possibilities. However, because one of the child is O blood type, right? So that means Mrs. Essie has to be I big A and little I-O. So you would say Mrs. Essie must have the genotype big I, A, little I-O, because Mark has blood type O. So then lastly, it says Luke cannot be the child of these parents because neither parents has the allele A or B, or neither parents has the allele B, right? So if Luke has type AB, Luke can get I big A from mom, whether mom is this or this genotype. But then in order for Luke to be AB, it means Luke also has to get IB from one of the parents, and there is no IB anywhere. That's not going to work. Luke is an adopted child, or who knows what happened. All right. I have a few more questions. 2 parents think their baby was switched at the hospital. Are they switched or not? Let's see. So we have mother. Mother's genotype, mother's phenotype is A, blood type. So mother can be I big A, or big A, little IO. We have father, his blood type is B. Can have this or this for father, right? The baby, Priscilla, the baby, has blood type AB, so the baby's blood type is IA, IB. So this is the baby, okay? We want to see, how can we get to this baby? Is that possible, right? If you have both parents as this, you can get blood type AB because you can have A and B combined together to get AB. If you have these two parents, that's also fine. If you have these two parents, that's also fine. If you have these two parents, you can still get blood type AB for the baby. You can draw any of the Punnett squares out of any of these, right? For mom, you choose one of these. For dad, you choose one of these. You draw a Punnett square. You end up getting a AB baby. This is actually their baby, okay? 34. We have a father whose blood type is B. And my mother, so let's do mother first. Mother is IO because that's the only type. We have a child whose blood type is O, so you have to somehow get to this child. You can get one of these from mom, so this is mom, right? Mom can give a little IO, but then you have to get another little IO from dad. That means in order for dad to be able to do this and be blood type B at the same time, dad has to be this, right? Dad can't be IB because then the child cannot be IO. So you have to make sure you remember all these notations. It's not super difficult, I hope. What are the chances that their next child will be blood type O? Or blood type B, whatever. Okay, so you draw up in a square. We have IO. We have IB, IO. We have IB, IO. IB, IO. IO. So the chance of the child being blood type O will be 2 out of 4, so that's your 50%, or if you write 2 out of 4, that's also fine. Type B will be also 2 out of 4, or 50%. Type A is impossible, so that'll be 0. Type AB will also be 0. And then this last question, type A and B are both dominant, so you can write codominant over IO. Blood type is also an example called multiple alleles because there are 3 different versions of this allele. I hope this is helpful. I hope you'll do well on the test.